Imagine a system that tells you it never looks at names, status, or politics, only facts and law, while standing in the middle of the most politically charged prosecution in modern history. That promise sounds simple. It's also the hardest one to keep. That tension is why this moment matters, not because of one defendant, but because it tests whether our institutions can explain themselves plainly when public trust is already thin. In his opening statement before the House Judiciary Committee, former Special Counsel Jack Smith wasn't just defending a case. He was defending a method, how power is supposed to be used when the stakes are highest.
Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief, so help you God?
I do.
Let the record reflect that the witness has answered in the affirmative. Thank you. You can be seated. Please know that your written testimony will be entered into the record in its entirety. Accordingly, we ask that you summarize your testimony. Mr. Smith, you may begin.
Chairman Jordan, Ranking Member Raskin, members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to discuss my work as Special Counsel. I love my country and believe deeply in the core principles upon which it was founded. For nearly 3 decades, I've served as a career prosecutor in both Republican and Democratic administrations. I've handled cases ranging from domestic assault and gang violence to public corruption and election crimes across the United States, and I've prosecuted war crimes overseas. I am not a politician, and I have no partisan loyalties. My career has been dedicated to serving our country by upholding the rule of law. Throughout my public service, my approach has always been the same: follow the facts and the law without fear or favor. Experienced prosecutors know that specific case outcomes are beyond our control. Our responsibility is to do the right thing, the right way, for the right reasons. These principles have guided me through my career, including as Special Counsel. I'm proud of the work my team did, and I appreciate the opportunity to appear here today to correct false and misleading narratives about our work. During my tenure as Special Counsel, we followed Justice Department policies, we observed legal requirements, and took actions based on the facts and the law. I made my decisions without regard.
Smith said the investigation produced proof beyond a reasonable doubt that President Trump engaged in criminal activity. That line is the fulcrum. It's the most forceful claim in the statement, and it's doing a lot of work. For ordinary Americans, beyond a reasonable doubt is the standard they hear when a verdict is about to be delivered, not when a prosecutor is defending himself before Congress. Hearing it here raises a basic question. If the proof is that strong, why does so much of the case still hinge on public trust rather than public clarity? Smith asks the public to accept that discretion was exercised perfectly, no fear, no favor, no political incentive. But institutions don't earn trust by asserting neutrality. They earn it by showing how guardrails actually function when pressure mounts. There's also an accountability gap embedded in the statement. Smith defends his team and warns against vilification and retribution. That's fair. Career staff shouldn't be targets. But accountability isn't retribution. Oversight exists because prosecutors wield extraordinary power, paid for by taxpayers who don't get to see grand jury rooms or internal debates.
To President Trump's political association, activities, beliefs, or candidacy in the 2024 election. President Trump was charged because the evidence established that he willfully broke the law, the very laws he took an oath to uphold. Grand juries in 2 separate districts reached this conclusion based on his actions, as alleged in the indictments they returned. Rather than accept his defeat in the 2020 election, President Trump engaged in a criminal scheme to overturn the results and prevent the lawful transfer of power. After leaving office in January of 21, President Trump illegally kept classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago social club and repeatedly tried to obstruct justice to conceal his continued retention of those documents. Highly sensitive national security information was held in a ballroom and a bathroom. As I testify before the committee today, I want to be clear. I stand by my decisions as special counsel, including the decision to bring charges against President Trump. Our investigation developed proof beyond a reasonable doubt that President Trump engaged in criminal activity. If asked whether to prosecute a former president based on the same facts today, I would do so regardless of whether that president was a Democrat or a Republican. No one should be above the law in this country, and the law required that he be held to account, so that is what I did. To have done otherwise on the facts of these cases would have been to shirk my duties as a prosecutor and as a public servant, of which I had no intention of doing. I remain grateful for the counsel, judgment, and advice of my team. President Trump has sought to seek revenge against career prosecutors, FBI agents, and support staff simply for having worked on these cases. To vilify and seek retribution against these people is wrong. Those dedicated public servants are the best of us, and it has been a privilege to serve with them. After nearly 30 years of public service, including in international settings, I have seen how the rule of law can erode. My fear is that we have seen the rule of law function in our country for so long that many of us have come to take it for granted. The rule of law is not self-executing. It depends on our collective commitment to apply it. It requires dedicated service on behalf of others, especially when that service is difficult and comes with costs. Our willingness to pay those costs is what tests and defines our commitment to the rule of law and to this wonderful country. Thank you.
This moment isn't about whether you like or dislike the defendant. It's about whether powerful institutions can justify their actions in plain terms, without asking the public to simply trust the process because they say so. The rule of law doesn't survive on credentials or confidence alone. It survives when accountability is visible, incentives are acknowledged, and standards are applied in ways people can recognize as fair, especially when it's hardest to do so.